Welcome everybody to Personal Effects. We're going to be seeing some wonderful collectibles today. John, people have been wearing jewelry for centuries, and they've been taking photographs for more than 150 years. If you put the two together, what have you got but photographic jewelry? And it's developing into quite a collectible, I might add.
Very interesting, very interesting. And of course, John Davis on the road for us again today in the town of Cleveland. He is actually finishing up his week in that area with the stop today in Beachwood, Ohio, where we have found a super collector of 1,000 pieces of Hanna-Barbera memorabilia and 1,000 robots. So we're going to check out both of those collections later on.
Ooh, robots.
Yeah.
Robots, photographic jewelry, a lot happening on today's Personal FX.
Hello there, everybody. Welcome to today's Personal FX, the Collectible Show. I want you to meet Jim. Hi, Jim. How are you, sir?
How you doing?
It's a pleasure to meet you. What are you going to have appraised today?
Coca-Cola button sign.
Now, where did you get that?
A number of years ago, I was managing a beer and soda distributor, and we were in a small little building store, and we built a new building next door to it. And as we vacated the other store, up in front, I said, I want that sign, so I got the forklift truck and had one of the employees raise me up on it. We were up about 20 feet. And took a little while, but we got the sign.
Yeah, I hope it was worth it. We'll find out later on. Thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate that. And this is Yvonne. Hi, Yvonne. How are you?
How are you doing? Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Now, you collect
Precious moments.
precious moments. Oh, well, I hope that today's one of them. So if you'd like to be a guest at our FX apartment, have something appraised, give us a call, 1-800-FX-FX-FX1, and we'll set it up. All right, let's go out to Beachwood, Ohio, where J.D. is going to be busy today. Hey there, J.D.
Hey, I am going to be busy, but it's a fun day, John.
Good.
These are fun collections. Look at this room. This room is jam-packed
is.
full of, as you can see here, robots, but also a very impressive collection of Hanna-Barbera collectibles.
Very impressive.
Look at this. Now, look down here. They all belong to this man, Stan Luxembourg. How are you, Stan?
Good, real good.
Now, Stan, do Jerry Lewis for John.
Hey, lady!
That's it.
Now, he has a lot of collectibles, as we said, but we're going to see two today, the robots and Hanna-Barbera. Now, why Hanna-Barbera?
Baby boomer. I grew up in the late 50s, early 60s, watching cartoons all the time. My earliest recollection is watching cartoons Saturday morning, right after school, the Three Stooges. Just want to relive my childhood, I guess.
And he has thousands of pieces
Yeah.
of Hanna-Barbera, and you've only been collecting for 7 or 8 years, right?
Yes, Hanna-Barbera, exactly.
That's a lot to collect in just 7 or 8 years.
Yes, it is.
So when we come back, John, we'll look at both collections. We'll start with Hanna-Barbera, and we'll meet Jerry Lewis. Say goodbye to John.
Bye!
All right, J.D., we'll check in with you later on. Thanks a lot.
He's a character.
He's a character. He's one of them. All right. Well, Claire, I could say, hey, lady. Let's get started with these appraisals.
Well, we've got Alan Shrem first off, and I have a feeling robots and Hanna-Barbera is your kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to this collection coming up.
And Deirdre Featherstone.
Well, I had to get my collection here, too, so. So there's jewelry also.
Okay, we're going to see photographic jewelry, something for everybody on this program today. Our first guest of the day is Helena. Nice to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you here. And what do you collect?
Actually, I collect silver. This was a gift from my mother-in-law about 30 years ago because she used to enjoy going to flea markets and garage sales and everything else, and she knew I enjoyed pieces like that.
Back in the days when you really could get a good buy.
Absolutely. I had no idea what she paid for it, though.
What do you know about it?
I know it's Roseville, okay? I don't know the date on it at all.
Well, that's why we have two appraisers here to help you out with the date.
Yeah, that's really is with Roseville, actually, because they made different patterns during different years. And this is definitely is very reminiscent of their 1940s designs that came out. Lots of other pottery companies did even resort, like Weller, were doing stuff that was even similar to looking at this. And it happens to be just a real beautiful vase.
So this is something that you could check out in terms of date in a book?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's a great Roseville book out there, actually, that will actually picture every single piece and show you every piece that they ever made. I mean, there are people out there who actually own one of everything that was ever done by Roseville. So.
They were very popular because they were American sort of pottery. There was a big interest in the post-war period, you know, and they were just an American manufacturer. 20 years ago, you could pick this up because it was all over the place. And it's gotten to be collectible within the past 10 years.
Which
The
is
pair of
actually
these
really
are
amazing.
worth about $2.25 to $3.50 for the pair.
Yeah, I would definitely agree in the price range, and it just shows how a very common thing, because you see a lot of Roseville on the
Yes.
show, and just because it's common, it doesn't mean it's not expensive. This is so desired that no matter how many they find.
Chances are your mother-in-law paid a lot less a whole lot of years ago.
I'm sure she did. I'm sure she
Now
did.
you have a
Claire.
decision to make in terms of whether you'd like to keep them or put them up for sale.
No, I'd like to, you know, entertain some bids.
Okay, we'll be happy
Okay.
to do that. Thank you so much for being
You're
with
welcome.
us today. And our number to call, this is the bid number for any or all items up for sale, is 212-802-0082. And Tony is our next guest. Let's see what he's bringing in. Hi, Tony. Good to have you
Hello,
here.
Claire.
And what were you curious about knowing about today?
Uh,
What have you got?
just curious about how much it's worth.
What is it?
It's a drawing done by Jimmy Stewart of Harvey from the movie Harvey the Rabbit.
And where'd you get it?
I got it at a store called New Hope Walls of Fame in New Hope, PA.
With an incredible legend like Jimmy Stewart just having passed on, has that now going to be affecting the value?
It definitely will affect the
Definitely.
value. Especially, I mean, he was very prolific. He signed a lot. He also signed through the mail while he was alive. But once a person dies, especially somebody of the stature of James Stewart, anything that they have done while they were alive, especially autographs or something like a drawing, would definitely escalate, probably even double, just right after a death.
What's interesting about this is not only is it signed here and the character's written, but this is all done in what looks to be a permanent type of a marker, which is great because it lasts, it won't fade, and you know, you can see the bleeding of the ink, so we do feel that this is real and everything about it is authentic.
Did he do a lot of these at the time?
He
of
did
Harvey?
little illustrations on
I've
things.
seen a lot.
And
I've
yeah.
seen a lot of Harveys that he's done. But nevertheless, it's still James Stewart, and
Right.
it's still a desired piece in its own regard. Where I would say before he passed away, I think an 8x10 photo might have sold between $50 and $75. Today might be $100 to $150. This piece probably retailed in the $250 range while he was alive. Probably today would be in the $600 range.
And in that particular range, was there interest in putting it up for sale?
Yes.
Yes, we will do that for you.
Okay.
Okay.
It's especially nice.
And John, Jim Stewart, long be remembered and missed. What an incredible man.
Class act. Class act. All right, let's go out to Ohio, where Rosalie is going to give us a preview of the next item to be appraised. Hi, Rosalie. What do you have there?
I have this pink depression glass vase to be appraised next on Personal FX.
Welcome back to Personal FX. I'm hanging out with Jim, who earlier had mentioned to John how he found this Coca-Cola sign. During the commercial break, you got an appraisal. And what did our appraisers tell you about it?
They told us that it was between 1948 and 1955 was the manufacture of it, and they said that it was in good condition, and that it was estimated $300 to $400.
Interesting. And in that particular price range, were you interested in putting it up for sale?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Our number to call is 212-802-0082. I don't know, John, do we have any Pepsi-Cola collectibles coming up next?
Yeah, right. That thing looks like a big bottle top, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Big
Yeah.
button.
Yeah, that's something. All right, let's go out to Ohio, where Rosalie has joined us. Hi, Rosalie. How are you?
Hi.
Tell us more about your vase there.
I believe it's to be pink depression glass, and it's about 13 inches tall and probably about 7 inches from here to here. On the bottom, it's like, I think they're ponto marks.
Yeah, they are.
Where it's
Hand blown.
been like shaved off, so it's not raw.
Yeah, actually what she has is a piece of art glass. It's not a piece of depression glass at all. Depression glass was very basic pieces, molded.
And molded. And this is not molded. This is
This is a
hand-blown.
hand-blown piece.
I wouldn't go so far as to call this art glass as a piece of hand-blown glass. And of course, Alan and I were disagreeing across the table. We both agree it's not depression,
It's
but
not depression, but I think it's
Czechoslovakian.
and I think it's Italian.
He thinks it's Italian.
I think it's an Italian imported piece. Probably it looks like a Murano-style piece. I think
has
it probably
that
came
flavor.
from that area of
And
Italy.
my feeling is it's Czechoslovakian. This horn of plenty was very common. The applied two pieces, and a lot of times you found them in pairs. However, either way, it is definitely European.
It probably had a paper label on it, too. That's probably why it's not on it. But are there any
And it
markings
probably
or
said made in
etchings?
Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, the label said, yeah. Are there any other markings, Rosalie, on that?
No, there isn't.
Okay.
It's a really great piece, though.
It is really beautiful.
125 to 175.
Oh, I'd agree in the price range, but I don't agree upon where it was made.
All right. So they're agreeing, Rosalie, on the price range. They just don't agree exactly where it may have come from. Do you want to take bids on that, or do you want to hold on to it?
Yes, I like to take offers.
We'll let you know. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, and Yvonne has joined us. Yvonne, glad you're here.
Thank you.
Now tell us what you brought. This is really special.
This is my great-grandfather's Purple Heart from World War I.
Look at that.
She would be the ultimate consumer for this piece. This would be a really tough piece to sell to, you know, someone out of the family.
Well, I don't want to sell. I
Good.
just want to...
But actually, military collectibles are, you know, highly sought after. I mean, Purple Heart is more of a common medal that is given out. Actually, it's given out for anybody who's wounded in war. So even if, let's say, you know, you might have tripped and fell or something, and you were in, I mean, sometimes it happens to people in the Army. Then there's a lot of people that get shot and whatever, but they'll give it for any range that might happen in your service.
What does it say on the back there, Al?
Let's pull it over. It says for military merit.
For military merit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, how many people have to go and suffer just to get these? It's an amazing thing. But the true value would be to the family or of that nature would bring the big money. Whereas if on the open market, they're all the same.
Yeah,
So-
if you don't know the person, they're just engraved with someone's name, or if they're not, it doesn't make much of a difference, but you see them at shows for $35 to $50.
I mean, for
They
the
are
heroism
truly-
involved, it's probably $1 million piece.
Exactly.
But for the intrinsic value on it, you're probably talking under $100.
The value is the story behind it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Interesting.
And of course, it's like anything, it's affected by, a little bit by provenance, name, who may have gotten it, whose Purple Heart it was.
Well, it's my job to ask you, do you want to take bids on that?
No, that's all right.
All right. Thank you very much for
Thank
bringing
you.
that by. I appreciate that. Okay. Up next is Drew. Hi, Drew.
Hi there, John.
Come on in, sir.
Okay.
Nice to see you today.
Nice to see you, too.
What do you have here?
This is a print, I believe it's called a mezzotint, that belongs to my sister down in Mississippi. She asked me to bring it by.
All right.
Okay, now two things here. One of them is this looks as though it has been glued onto here, which is not the best thing in the whole entire world. The second thing about it is that
It wasn't done good.
No,
You
wait,
see,
look.
see, that's the problem. I see a lot of warping in here, too. And sometimes if they put them on board in order to prevent warping or prevent sometimes splitting or tears. But it has to be done good and has to be done professionally for it to actually hold the value that it would be if it wasn't glued on a board. Or
other thing-
linen back or whatever you might decide to put it on.
the other thing about it is it's this brown, sort of like a mildewing, I think it's called floxing. And that does affect, those are two things that you don't want to find on a print. The cut edges, it's been cut and applied to this paper, these are all things that aren't the best, the torn edges. However, it's a steel plate engraving, it's extremely well done, and you can still pick these up at auction, like in this condition, $25 to $50.
I might say a little
Very
bit higher,
pretty.
maybe $50 to $75, but I do agree they are pretty common on the market, and condition is a key factor in the price.
Can this and should this be removed and tried again?
It can be done professionally. I can probably remove something like that from the board, but it would cost so
More
much
than
to
it's
do
worth.
that.
Absolutely.
They wouldn't pay to do it.
Absolutely.
So.
If it was something from your family, then by all means. But if it's just something that's an engraving, go to another auction and buy another one.
Do we agree on the price then?
Oh yeah, I would
35
definitely.
to
I'm a little
50,
bit higher.
I'm a
I'm a
little
little maybe up to 75 on the piece.
Okay. Well, what do you think? Do you want to take some bids?
Sure, why not?
All right. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
We'll let you know. You can always say no.
All right, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Put it together for us.
There's that. Thank you.
I'll sell that separately, you know.
Ryan is up next. Hi, Ryan. Come on in. Where are you from, sir?
Las Vegas.
Ah, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in. What do you have here?
Long way.
It's a Bell & Howell stereo camera, a three-dimensional camera.
Oh, my.
Now, where'd you get this?
We've had it for quite some time. Screwed in there.
What do you think?
I think it's a great piece. Stereo cameras right now are, you know, everybody seems to be stereo is like, you know, from the 60s, but actually these stereo cameras right now have become popular in today's day and age, especially with the computer and technology like that. They're a little bit modified, but this is like an early predecessor to what they have called a stereo view camera, which actually is used sometimes to even make viewmasters.
Now, how did this work? Exactly what was the idea behind it?
Well, the idea behind it was to take two exact images so that if they would be placed a certain distance away from each other and put a certain distance in front of your face, it would actually, like the old stereo views that we see.
Opticons, the Viewmaster,
Right.
not Viewmaster.
It could also be used
2-to-1.
Right, but it can also be used exactly for a Viewmaster, a camera like this. So you would take a photo, you would actually be able to send them into Viewmaster, and they would make you your own Viewmasters.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, you can still do it today. They still do that for you today. But you know, it's a Bell & Howell camera. It's not a very expensive camera, probably in the couple of $100 range or so, but it's desirable, and they sell. That's the important thing with it.
It's a little novelty. Right off the, yeah,
And the
Alan's
value?
covered it.
A couple $100.
Couple $100.
Yep.
What do you think? Do you want to take some bids? We'll let you know. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Did I hear somewhere you're getting married soon?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep, September.
What's that?
Congratulations.
To Yvonne.
To Yvonne?
Yeah.
Well, now there's a precious moment if I ever heard one. Yvonne, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you, sir, for coming in. And we'll let you know all about those bids. All right, let's go out to Ohio. JD's going to give us a sneak preview of one of the two collections, Hanna-Barbera. And JD, Hanna-Barbera had a lot of different characters, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, John. Actually, like 50 or 60 between 1958 and the early 70s. Now, we're most familiar with the Flintstones and the Jetson characters, but they also had some other characters that were a little bit more obscure. Look at this one. Do you remember Mr. Peebles?
No, I don't.
Mr. Peebles was the pet shop owner, and he was always trying to sell Magilla Gorilla.
Oh, that's right.
But John, this is an interesting piece. It's from 1969, and they never sold Mr. Peebles merchandise in the United States. And this is a piece that came from Italy.
No kidding.
So when we come back, we're going to take a look at some Hanna-Barbera collectibles with characters both common and rare as we continue on Personal FX.
Did you know the Hanna-Barbera cartoon The Flintstones made its debut in 1960 as the first primetime animated series?
A lot of animated series since then.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know how many, though, John.
That's right.
Welcome back to Personal Effects. Let's tell you about the items that are up for sale right now. I think we have about 6 of them.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's start out with the Roseville vases, a pair of apricot-colored vases from the 1940s. They are very desirable, and they have an appraised value of $225 to $350. We also have the Jimmy Stewart drawing that has an appraised value of $600. He signed a lot of them when he was alive. He did these pieces, and they were hand-done and signed, and it just brings back a lot of memories of Jimmy Stewart when you see his signature there. And then the Coca-Cola button side with an appraised value of $300 to $400, dating back to 1948 to 1955. In what, fair to good condition, are we saying?
I would say in very good condition.
In very good condition, okay.
Also out in Ohio, we have the hand-blown glass vase, and this is pink, and it's either from Czechoslovakia or Italy. We're not sure about that, but we know that the price is around $125 to $175. We have the Gamekeeper's print, and this has been glued down and not done well. However, it's a good engraving, so you're looking at a value of about $35 to $75. And last but not least, we have the Stereo Vivid camera. This is made by Bell & Howell. Very collectible today, and this was appraised at $200.
So if you see something that you like, here's what you do. You call us at 212-802-0082. Well, you know I always love fun collectibles.
Yeah.
We're going to be seeing some today.
That's right. This is the collection for you. Let's go out to Beachwood, Ohio right now. JD, take it away.
John and Claire, we have a fun collection and a fun guy to show off this collection. This is Stan Luxembourg, and we're going to first go to Hanna-Barbera.
All right.
Now, let's talk about this piece. Tell me about this Fred Flintstone Flivver.
Fred
Flintstone Flivver.
Was made in '63, made in Japan. It's all tin, beautifully done, nice litho, nice colors. The original box makes it rarer. It's very difficult to find the box. Hardly played with.
What's the value of something like this?
With the box, over $500.
Wow. And then look at this. Look at this cartoon lunchbox. Do you remember this character?
Yeah.
Wally Gator.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about this character until I saw this. And then this is Touche Tortoise.
Right.
Turtle. And that's
Lippy the Lion.
Now tell us about this box.
This box, it's pretty rare. It's hard to find the box in this condition, and it shows a lot of the obscure collections of other people like Lippy and Touche Turtle, and a lot of the lunchbox collectors really enjoy it. It's hard to find, and like I said, it shows a lot of obscure
Hanna-Barbera characters too, because they weren't obviously as common as the ones that we think of, like you said,
No.
Fred and the Jetsons. All right, look at this as we go. Hey, look at this one. Fred Feuerstein.
German.
It's German.
From Germany. Fred evidently is very popular in Germany.
And it's family Feuerstein, which is the Flintstone family. Now look at this. This is a Jetson space copter. Now you said that's pretty rare, isn't it?
Yeah, they didn't make a lot of Jetson stuff. For some reason, Jetson wasn't made. A lot of toys. There should be more toys because it's very
It was a very
spacey.
popular. Yeah, it was a popular show too.
And to find anything with Jetson is very difficult, especially something mint on the card.
Yeah, how did you find that?
I believe it was I bought it from a dealer or a toy shop, which is a magazine that comes out every 2 weeks.
And you have a lot of foreign items, and you buy them from dealers abroad, correct?
Yes, I buy them from dealers abroad, England, Italy, Germany.
Now look down here. We had mentioned Mr. Peebles earlier, and he was the pet shop owner who was trying to sell Magilla Gorilla. And I kind of think this is like our producer, Will Magilla.
Yeah, Will Magilla.
Tell us about this one.
This is made in '64 or '65, made by Ideal. It's mint in the box, never been played with. You wind it up, and it plays the tune of Magilla Gorilla's theme song, I believe.
Which is what? Do you know it?
Magilla Gorilla, Gorilla for sale? I don't know.
Now, is that torture that you can't play with it? Because you tend to like to touch and play with these things.
Sure, you can still take it out. But yeah, you don't want to decrease the value or anything. You just want to keep it in the box. Keep it.
And look over here, Claire, for you.
Yes.
Look at the tin wind-ups here.
Ooh, what
We
fun.
have Flintstones and Jetsons. And when I spotted those, I said, those are for Claire. Now look at this one. This is an interesting character. Tell us about this.
This is Loop-de-Loop. It's mint, literally mint, mint, mint. It's never been out of the box except for now.
And when you think about the fact that this is 35 years old, and look at the condition.
Yeah.
And the character's name's Loop-de-Loop. It was the only Hanna-Barbera character, I believe, that was only shown in the movies. It was a short for the movies. It wasn't really shown on TV.
Mm-hmm. What's the value of this? Any idea?
Oh, $200-300. Because let me show you the box. Here's the box it came into. It's a generic box where they put all the Knickerbocker toys and dolls in.
And it originally sold for $3.57.
JD?
Yes.
I just want to pass along, Alan Shrem is mumbling, no, you could double that value. He's saying
really?
it's worth a lot
He's
more,
saying
yeah.
closer to $600. Quickly, look at this. A Yogi Bear cookie jar, and this is rare. Why?
Well, they only sold it in the cookie jar, in the Jellystone Parks gift shops. There are only 50 or 60 of them around the country. And they supposedly recalled it because Hanna-Barbera did not like the likeness of it. So it wasn't sold in a lot of places.
Huh.
All right, so that's a look at his Hanna-Barbera collection. When we come back, we're going to be seeing robots. And Gerard, pan to the right, we have to show something to John Burke.
Unbelievable. Look at all of these.
Mr. Pez.
Unbelievable. Look at all of those. Well, a whole bunch of us just went down memory lane. That was just
That's
terrific.
right.
Well,
he has a lot of different collections, but robots are coming up next.
Oh, looking forward to it. Thank you both very much, JD. We'll see you in a little bit.
Oh,
Okay.
robots are fun, and so are the names. Magilla Gorilla. I mean, you put these names together.
Yeah.
When we come back, a picture-perfect collectible. We'll be finding out all about how you determine the value of photographic jewelry. Stay with us.
The entire staff is now singing the Magilla Gorilla song. Personal FX on the road every day. Here's our schedule. The week of July 14th, we will be in Tucson, Arizona. However, that week is all booked up. But the week of July 21st, we'll be in Tampa, Florida. And the week of July 28th will be in Wichita, Kansas. If you're interested in participating in either one of those 2 weeks, give us a call at 1-800-FX-FX-FX1 and we will set it up. All right, welcome back to Personal FX, the collectible show. Before we get back into some more appraisals, let's go back out to Ohio because we have to revisit with JD and Stan. They did such a good job with Hanna-Barbera. We're going to do the sequel now with robots. JD?
He's the man. He has just too much stuff to see.
Yeah.
Right now we're going to take a look at robots. So let's take a look at Atomic Robot Man. Tell us about these, Stan.
Atomic Robot Man was probably made in the late 40s, made in Japan. These are handmade, very difficult to find.
And the one on the right is the original, and then that's a reproduction.
They just started making the reproduction. Here's a reproduction box. If you notice, it says Atomic Robot Man with a mushroom cloud over it. I don't know what the Japanese were thinking with that.
Now, what's the story about in the original? It was used from beer cans and old tin.
Supposedly, they didn't have resources after the war, of course. They were picking up tin cans from the GIs and supposedly making toys to export.
So they say if you tear this open, you might be able to see the labels and stuff on the inside, right?
Supposedly. I've never seen it because you can look through it a little bit and you really can't see it. Maybe this particular one you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, John.
Alan had something to say about that very item right there.
Yeah, that's actually the first robot ever made.
Ever made?
There was another one called Lilliput, which was supposedly made in the 30s.
Same time. Well, actually, it came out roughly within the same time.
One of the first ones ever right there. That's amazing.
Wow. And then if you look over here, we have Chief Smokey right here. And what's interesting about this says Mr. Chief, this says Chief Smokey. Why is it different?
Who knows? No one knows why the Japanese do things. Maybe the guy who drew it and the person who put the litho on it didn't combine together.
And this is from when? How old is it?
Early 60s.
And what's good is that when you start it, there's a little smoke that comes out of the top. I don't know if you can see it. I don't even see it now. Oh, there it goes. A little bit of smoke here. Now with the box, what would you say is the value of this one?
Probably over $2,000.
Wow. Chief Smokey. And then look up here, this big blue robot. Tell us about this one. You said this was very popular.
Very popular. Early 60s, 64. This is Robo Commando. It came with some accessories as the missile, which shoots out of the top of the head.
Right into your eye, right?
Balls that flick out of the arm.
And you have all of these little accessories.
Yeah, and I have the box also. That's what makes the toy more desirable when you have everything. I have the instructions also. This was put out in the early 60s, and they put commercials on Christmas time. We're pushing this, and this is one of the highest selling robots ever. Wow. I had it as a child. A lot of people had it as a child.
But I bet you there aren't many left, right?
No, there's quite a few, actually.
Really?
You see them coming up all the time. But sometimes you're missing the sticker, sometimes you're missing the accessories.
Now look at this one. It's amazing back then how they had these toys that could be quite dangerous, actually. Tell us about this one.
This one was made in Japan for only the Japanese market. It's called Mr. 45. It's huge, it's battery operated, and it will shoot the, I don't know if it'll shoot.
Whoa!
Look out.
There you go. Look, guys.
Get out. Look out. I don't think they'll sell that these days because it takes someone's eyes off.
And what's the value of that, do you think?
Oh, a few $100s.
All right. Well, Stan, thank you so much for showing us your collection.
No problem.
He has, as you can see, all sorts of different things. So we'll have to come back and do a segment on some of his other collectibles.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Stan, I hope you'll let us back in sometime next time we're in Cleveland.
No problem.
All right. Thank you both very much. Thanks a lot, JD.
All right. Bye-bye.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Great.
Great stuff. All right, now we can get back into some more appraisals. Bobby has joined us. Hi, Bobby. How are you?
John, how are you?
Where are you from?
Elmsford, New York.
Welcome. Tell us what you brought.
It's a tapestry that was hanging in the Murray Hill Hotel. My husband's grandfather acquired it when he worked there.
All right.
And
Well, I don't know much
40s,
about that hotel, but is that a good thing? What does that mean?
It says made in Belgium on the back. I don't know if that means
Yeah,
anything.
we'll flip this right over. Right up here, it says made in Belgium. Now, what this is a machine-made tapestry, and how, you can always determine the difference. You look at the back of these tapestries, you'll find the loopy, sort of loose threads where the loom, disconnected for breaks on color. On a machine-made, it's all tight. It's almost the same as the front in a way. These were very popular. They're usually Venetian or Turkish or French scenes. This one is, obviously, it's a Venetian scene.
And it's very, in my opinion, pretty easy to date also. I mean, you look at the back, it says made in Belgium, so you know it's post-1914. We're probably talking 20s or 30s probably when these pieces were marketed.
As late as the 40s, yeah, they were very, very popular. And they're copies of the big old tapestries. Their value, the handmade ones are a whole different category. These are the machine-mades. $25 to $65 every time they go.
I would say more towards the $25 range.
Okay.
$65.
What do you think, Bobby? Do you want to take some bids?
Yes, I do.
We'll let you know.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Yeah. At least we're agreeing on the country of origin. At least we have to. Number to call in case you want to place a bid, 212-802-0082. And Jeffrey is coming on in. Hi, Jeffrey. How are you?
Hey, John. How you doing?
Good. Where are you from?
I hailed in New Jersey.
Welcome, sir.
Thanks.
Now, it looks like you've got some Roseville here. Tell us about it.
Yeah, these I found, I was out house sailing one day and went past one and decided to stop. It was unadvertised, and it was the most miserable, messed up sale I've ever seen in my life. But when I was down in the basement, there was one woman down there yelling at another woman upstairs that there were boxes left in the cupboards, and they needed someone to bring them up. And she asked me if I would, and I said sure, but no, I'm not usually so mercenary, but I said I'd like first dibs on them after I carry them up, and
those are in there.
Those are two of the pieces I pulled out.
Pays to be a good person in this world, doesn't it?
Or to go to a messed up sale, maybe.
Yeah, one out of the two.
What do we have here?
Got more Roseville.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
What I like about this, actually, is that it actually has a sticker on it from the store that it was bought, which adds more to the piece.
It does.
It definitely does.
Now, what I actually like about this one here is the Roseville, and it shows you the difference. It shows you the difference in time. This one's, I would say, 10 to 15 years later than this one. This one is unmarked, and it had a paper label. Obviously like this one, but it was washed off. It makes it, the pattern is so typical, it's easy to attribute them to their, makers. But it's interesting just to compare the 10-year difference.
And just
this one, yeah.
I'm sorry, just the popularity of Roseville, too, nowadays. Any pieces, any eras, marked, unmarked, as long as they can be attributed to Roseville.
What are the two eras here?
You're looking at 30s here and 40s to 50s, about, late 30s, 40s towards 50s here.
And the value?
The value on this one would be 75 to 100 and a quarter, and the value on this one would be like 65 to 100 and a quarter.
I would agree, maybe a little bit less, maybe to 100, but, within the same realm.
All right.
Kind of nice.
What do you think? You want to take some bids?
Turned into one of the better sales.
Suddenly that sale wasn't so bad.
Really? Sure, I'll take this one.
We'll let you know.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate that. All right, Claire, I'm going to toss this your way because I'm really interested in learning all about this jewelry.
Well, John, how every picture tells a story. Well, let me tell you a story about photographic jewelry. Last October, the Swan Galleries auctioned off a 14-karat gold bracelet with an oval picture for $2,530. And that sale put photographic jewelry on the collectibles map. Larry West is a New York City collector. Welcome to the program. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Claire.
For the audience that isn't that familiar with photographic jewelry, give us a sense of how and where it originated.
Photographic jewelry got its start when Daguerre invented photography, and he called it the daguerreotype in Paris. And,
how long ago was this?
1839, and that was really the beginning, and it provided the way, because it was inexpensive for the masses to now own a portrait and wear something beautiful, whereas they couldn't have probably owned and worn a portrait miniature because of its expense.
Let's take a look at some of the most popular collectibles, because they are daguerreotype.
Almost everything you see here is a daguerreotype across the front. And
give me an example.
All right, here's a good example. Here's a man's piece of jewelry. This is the kind of thing that would have been given by a wife to a man going away to the Civil War. He also might have worn this in his vest pocket. With it would have come a watch fob down here and a key wind. So these items were not only for men and women, but also for children. They came in little micro sizes.
So when a man went off to war, he would wear photographic jewelry. And what about mourning jewelry? Does that fall into the category as well?
But this is something we inherited and was especially popular in Europe. These are two good examples, Claire, of mourning jewelry. They typically had a black or a blue border around the image of the deceased, and it was custom to wear them for at least a year after the death of the person.
How did the jewelry change as photography began to change? Let's take a look at some of the other different types.
Okay.
We have right over here.
All right, we started with daguerreotypes and we went into ambrotypes. Most people, I think, are the most frequently heard question is, how do I tell the difference between a daguerreotype and the other later photographic processes?
Why don't you tell us?
Great,
right
why don't you...
This is what?
This is a daguerreotype, and it is a silver-plated copper plate. Those are the first images. They were popular from about 1840 to maybe 1855. And you can see they're metal. You cannot touch one, though. This has been disassembled and coated with plastic so you can look at it.
Okay, and this is
apart,
a daguerreotype.
it's done.
This is an ambrotype?
This is the next generation. It is a negative, as you see, Claire, on a glass plate, and behind it would be put a dark,
Just put one of those things
a dark
and you can
piece
see
to
that
make
this
it
is
a
an
positive.
ambrotype.
That's
okay,
right.
and this right here is the ambrotype
jewelry.
That's right.
There's
that we're
an
taking
example.
a look at
That's
right here. Now the next type is called?
A tintype.
Okay.
And it is just what it sounds to be. It is a photograph with an emulsion on a piece of tin.
Does it sound like tin if I?
It sure does.
Like that. And these are examples of tin. These are buttons?
These are tin-type buttons, Victorian period. In fact, one is Queen Victoria's daughter.
And last but not least, I know there's one other type here, and I'm just seeing like this, like a paper?
Yes, it's paper. This, in fact, right from 1865 right up through today, we are using paper in jewelry.
And this was a paper type of...
Yes, it's called a bar pin. It is paper from the period of a young girl with her doll.
This is a very interesting kind of pin.
Yes,
now,
it
what
is.
will determine the value of all of this?
The value of any of these vintage pieces is determined just like any kind of antique jewelry. It's all the same things plus the image content. It's condition, rarity, the type of image, and the overall beauty of the piece.
For example, a piece like that, which is a ring.
Yes, Daguerrean rings are very, very rare. They're typically a $1,500 to $2,500 piece.
So you can find things at what kind of price range?
The most inexpensive you'd probably find would be an open-faced pendant that might be $150. But of course, if it's reversible, it won't be. It might be a $750.
Okay, so beauty, history, rarity, those are some of the factors that will determine.
And image type, because the daguerreotypes are the most desirable for collectors.
Larry, thank you so much for being with us, and
Okay.
I'm sure you can still find these at flea markets and garage
Absolutely.
sales as
Thank
well.
God.
Thank you. And when we come back, David has an item for us to take a look at. David, we'd like a sneak preview right now. What have you got?
I've got a Romper Room Doobie cookie jar that I'd like to put up for appraisal on Personal FA.
It's a Super Collectors, and here's when. Saturday at 3:30, and that's Eastern and Pacific time, and then Sunday we'll do it again at 7 a.m. and also 3:30 Eastern Pacific time. Of course, people in the Central Time Zone, 1 hour difference.
Right.
Yes.
Welcome back to Personal FX. Did you see a piece of photographic jewelry you wanted, Deirdre?
He had an amazing collection,
Yeah.
a really beautiful
Very,
collection.
very lovely. Well, we have a collection of items that are getting bids right now to tell you about, starting with the apricot Roseville vases that have an appraised value of $225 to $350 for the pair. Very desirable, dating back to the 1940s. We also have the Jimmy Stewart drawing that has been appraised at $600. He signed a lot of them when he was alive, but because of his recent death, that is about doubling the value of some of these pieces.
Oh, yeah, automatically.
And then the Coca-Cola button side that comes with an appraised value of $300 to $400 from 1948 to 1955 in good condition. And also the hand-blown glass vase that has a price tag of $125 to $175 from either Czechoslovakia or Italy. Not sure.
Italy.
Either way, it's lovely.
Europe, yeah. We have the Gamekeeper's print, and this was appraised at $35 to $75. It's been glued down. It's a little damaged, but the engraving is very good. Then we have the Stereo Vivid camera, and this was appraised at $200, made by Bell and Howell, and that is very collectible today. We've got the tapestry, and this is machine-made, and it's from the 1920s to the 1930s, and is appraised at $25 to $65 extra if you want Alan to come to your house and hold it. We've got the Roseville vase and basket, and the basket is from the late 1930s, and the vase is from the 1940s to the 1950s, so you're looking at an appraisal value of $135 to $250 for both.
Just reverse that.
Reverse
Basket
it.
is later than the vase.
The basket is from the 1940s to 1950s, and the vase is from the 1930s. Yes. Thank you very much.
We can
135
reverse
to
that.
250. No
But
problem.
don't reverse the numbers in our telephone, okay? 212-802-0082. The number to call if you want to bid on any of these items. Let's go back out because David has been waiting very patiently to have his item appraised. Hi, David.
Hi.
Tell us about your cookie jar and where you got it.
Well, I got it at a Salvation Army store about 16 years ago. I think that it's slip cast ceramic, 3-piece mold, underglaze with glaze on top.
Is there a marking on the bottom?
Yes, there is.
What does it say?
It says Laurel Sales, Cleveland, Ohio, made in Japan.
Okay, let's...
And that's about it.
Yeah.
I've never seen this. It just happens.
That's saying something.
You run across things that you've never seen. This is something I've never seen. That doesn't mean I can't appraise it. I've just never seen it before. I can get you a good idea. It has Mr. Doobie on top. Of course, everybody remembers that watch Romper Room. And it's not a super desirable piece on the Romper Room level because Romper Room is not hugely collected. I think it's going to bring them more money in the cookie jar market.
Right.
Which is really going to bring up the value
So
of
how
a
much
piece
more
like
money are we
that.
talking?
I'm going to have to probably say it's probably between $200 and $350. $200 to $350.
Oh, I'd be a little more conservative on this because the romper room, you know, the kids were not that strong a market because they were so young when they saw it, and they were a little older when they liked to collect from that period. So I would put this in the 75 to 125 range.
Had you seen one before?
I've never seen one before either.
Well, that's unusual. Our appraisers have never seen one before. In that price range, would you like to put it up for sale?
I sure would.
Okay, we'll be happy to do that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, and now on the phone from Williston, North Dakota, Myrna has joined us. Hi, Myrna, how are you?
Hi, John. Hi, Claire.
Hi.
What would you like to have appraised today?
Well, I have a stove that I don't know much about. I bought it at a garage sale.
All right, and let's see, it measures 9 inches wide, 9 inches high, 13 inches long, and 16 inches high with the stack. She also wrote in that it appears to be handmade with no markings.
The metal, do you think it's aluminum or do you think it's a steel?
It's aluminum.
My feeling is that this is somebody, you know, somebody's dad or mom made this for them to play with. It's not a commercial piece, all these things.
It could be a salesman's sample to
No,
sell.
I don't think it is.
You don't think-
Myrna, why don't you think so? Myrna?
What?
Why don't you think it's a salesman's sample?
Well, because I can see the lines where they grooved in, apparently, when they made it, homemade.
Oh, it is a homemade piece.
Yeah, my feeling is it's homemade, and it's obviously like a metal worker who did these kinds of things in his or her spare time, which is wonderful because you've got all the little rivets, and you know probably somebody put appliances in steel or aluminum at the time, and then they did all of this sort of metal work and the making little pots and the little hammered. This is typically what a metal worker does when they're going out of their usual field.
It is all
Fabulous.
riveted, has 2 burners of some kind, maybe alcohol or kerosene.
So then it's possible that this was a plumber, somebody who did, you know what I mean.
It's a great piece.
It
I think it's a fantastic piece, handmade. It still makes it even better, in my opinion. It's a good piece of artwork in its own form that it's been done in. I would probably say it might sell in the $200 range, a piece like that.
I think it's fabulous. I think if you know who owned it, who made it, and who it's for, that gives it so much more sentimentality. And you break it down, I'd put it in the $200 to $400 range as well. I love it. I think it's great, and it probably has the kerosene, which works, which makes it more interesting as well.
Myrna, do you want to take bids or do you want to hold on to it?
I definitely will take some entertainment offers.
All right, we'll do that for you. Thank you very much for being on the phone. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me a phone guest.
Thank you. Thank you. And for those of you who have something in your house that you've never known what it's worth but would like to know, if you can't get to New York City, you can always send us a picture of the item, a really good quality picture. Don't send us the item. And if you know the size, the history behind the item, please write to us at the following address.
Personal FX, The Collectibles Show, P.O. Box 825, Madison Square Station, New York, New York, 10159-0825.
And it is that time. When we come back, big bid time. Don't go away. Welcome back to Personal FX. Before we get to the big bids, I want to thank Larry West for bringing in that beautiful photographic jewelry and teaching us more about it. And if you want to know more about it, just contact the show. We'll put you in touch with Larry. Thank you.
All right, let's get started with these big bids. In order to do that, we have to go out to Ohio, where Rosalie brought the vase. Rosalie, Gina from Shelton, Washington, called in with an offer of $235.
Sold.
Oh. Helena with the Roseville vases. Leonard from Barnwell, South Carolina wants them for $225.
I'll think about it.
All right.
Thinking about it.
Thank you very much. Tony with the Jimmy Stewart drawing. Debbie from Rockaway, New Jersey called in with an offer of $654.
I'll think about it.
All righty. And Jim with the Coke button there. Pat from Owasso, Michigan called in with an offer of $450.
We'll think about that one, too.
All right.
A lot of thinking going on. Drew, for your print, Jody from Coral Springs, Florida, would like it for $76.
Sure.
Okay. Ryan for the camera. Don from Summit, Illinois, is offering you $200.
Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Bobby for the tapestry. Becky from Beaverton, Oregon, is offering $60. Sold. And Jeffrey for the Roseville vase and basket. Tom from Naples, Florida, would like it for $351.
Sold. Okay. So it is. Let's go say goodbye to JD. Tell him what a great job he did all week. And JD, that goes for the rest of the crew out there as well.
Yes, let's hear it for the crew.
Yeah.
And we want to thank Stan for showing us both of his collections and giving us some impersonations. We want to also thank everyone in the Cleveland area. It's been a good week. Go Tribe. Sorry, John.
That's all right.
That's it from Cleveland.
All right, let's get out of here. Before we leave, Io Haynes on the road for us next week. Hi, Io.
Hi, I'm going to Tucson, Arizona. I'm going to start the week off with a collection that celebrates the Southwestern lifestyle. So we're looking at collectibles with motifs of Chile, hacienda men, cowboys. In fact, we're going to show you a hacienda lamp that's worth $1,500.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Have fun out there.
Thank you.
Have a great time. Alan Trim, Deirdre Featherstone, always a pleasure having you as our ace appraisers. We hope all of you in the apartment had a great time with us. And to all of you at home, make the most of your weekend. We look forward to seeing you back here Monday.
So long, everybody.